Hey, what's up gamers? You have TigerChainsaw. Now, if you are watching this video, my guess is that you found my first Dead or Alive review that was from 1998 on the PS1. And my guess is you liked that review and all of the booby jokes that I made in it. And it was hard not to do that because of the insane jiggle physics in the first Dead or Alive. I could not believe what I was seeing on my screen. But for the sequel, Dead or Alive 2, I actually have DOA 2 Hardcore for the PS2. That is going to be the game that I am reviewing today. Now, do the jiggle physics carry over? Is the roster of fighters bigger? And is the gameplay better? I'm going to be getting into all of that in this review. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, or if you just haven't yet, go ahead, hit that sub button because I've got tons of game reviews on my channel ranging from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, all the way up to the Switch and the PS5. So go ahead and hit that sub button because it really helps me grow and you can watch all of those reviews. All right, let's jump back into the ring in Dead or Alive 2 and see if it's better than the first game. The fighting series Dead or Alive bounced its way onto the video game scene in the late 90s with releases on the Sega Saturn and the PS1. Known for bouncing breasts and fighting, Tecmo and the group of developers that were working for Tecmo at the time that would become Team Ninja released a sequel in 2000 for the Sega Dreamcast and the PS2. It had big cups, shoes to fill. So how does it stack up? We are setting the age limit to 99 in this Dead or Alive 2 review, starting with the plot, but be warned, spoilers are ahead. Fame Douglas has been murdered. Who is he, you ask? He was the organizer of the first Dead or Alive tournament. For some reason, his death has sent the world into chaos. Despite this, the second tournament of Dead or Alive is still on. The man behind the second tournament is a mastermind of evil, bringing terror to the world. That terror comes from another dimension in the form of a Tengu, which is a mythological creature. This Tengu is named Ban Katsubo and is a mass criminal in his dimension. He escapes to the human world and tries to bring disaster and chaos to Earth. Well, we have gone ahead and said goodbye to any realistic realities in the Dead or Alive universe. There are 14 playable characters in Dead or Alive 2, with 12 of them being eligible for the story mode. Let's take a look at the roster of fighters and their history, but don't worry, I'll be quick. Kasumi, she was the winner of the first DOA tournament, but immediately after winning, she was captured by a mysterious evil company that clones and experiments with the DNA of people to make superhuman fighters. They were impressed by Kasumi's victory over her evil uncle Raidu, I still don't know how to say it, in the first DOA tournament, and have since cloned Kasumi before she was able to escape. Ryu Hayabusa. He's a shinobi who vowed to keep Kasumi safe in the first tournament as he was her brother's friend. Ryu goes on to win the second tournament, killing the evil Tengu in the process. So if you're counting at home, the first winner was Kasumi and the second winner is Ryu. Genfu, he enters the second tournament in hopes of securing more money to help finance his granddaughter's mysterious but deadly illness. Her condition continues to worsen after the first tournament. Tina Armstrong, she used her sex appeal to become famous. She was probably the first woman in history to use her boobs to get famous. After making it to the finals of the first tournament, she wants to leave the professional wrestling league that she stars in and become a supermodel, much to the dismay of her father, Bass. Bass Armstrong. He's grown tired of his daughter being a sex idol and becomes very protective of her. He sets out to stop her from becoming a supermodel, but his daughter Tina is able to defeat him in the second tournament. Zach. He gained fame from the first tournament, but he wants more money. He enters the second tournament in hopes of making more fans, fame, and money. Jan Lee. He continues to work on his craft, making each strike the most powerful he has ever thrown. He enters the second tournament to test his skills again as a fighter and test the power of his strikes. Li Fang. She seeks out Jan Lee again after he defeated her in the first DOA. She wants to prove to him that she doesn't need him to protect her and that she's capable of doing it herself. For the second straight year, she falls to Jan Lee in battle. Ayani. She was an unlockable character from the first tournament and is the half-sister to Kasumi. Ayani went searching for the missing Kasumi only to discover her clone and battle her. She was then brainwashed by Genra, who ran the second tournament and set forth to battle Hayabusa and her half-brother Hayate. Let's get some new fighters in here. Helena Douglas. She's the daughter of the murdered DOA tournament founder, Fame Douglas. She seeks revenge on whoever killed him and her mother. As a famous opera singer, she was on the stage with her mother when a stray bullet killed her mother instead of her. She is somehow mysteriously connected to Project Ypsilon that experiments on DNA. Leon. He is a Russian mercenary who enters the second tournament to prove his dying girlfriend's words true. As she died, she whispered to him that she loves the strongest man in the world. Hayate. He's the brother of Kasumi and half-brother of Ayani. He was crippled before the first tournament by his uncle Raidu, but with Project Epsilon experimenting on him, he regained his strength but lost his memory. He is found by Hayabusa, who encourages him to fight his sister Kasumi. The fight restores his memory. Bayman. You can unlock him, but you won't be able to play with him in the story mode. Bayman is from the first DOA and succeeded in killing his target, Fame Douglas. Bankatsubo. He is the final boss in DOA 2. He's a Tengu, which again is a mythological Japanese creature from another dimension. He's an unlockable fighter, but you won't be able to play as him throughout the story. So that's it for the roster of fighters, and as you can kind of tell, the universe of DOA is getting a little bit weird. I immediately noticed that the controls for the fighters were improved significantly from the first DOA. In the first game, it felt like they inched their way toward each other, but in my DOA 2 playthrough, all movements were much quicker. Even the big boys like Bass and Leon moved with ease instead of inch by inch like tanks. Graphically, I know that I reviewed the first game on the PS1 and the second game is on the PS2, but it's light years better on the graphical side of things. The animation is smoother and the texture of the characters is 100 times more realistic. Yes, even the boobs realistically bounce and move instead of smacking the girls in the face. Speaking of the fun bags that the series is known for, there's an option for you to set the age. I looked into what this meant, and I guess the higher the age that you set, the more bouncy the boobs become. I tested this out and set my age to 99 during my DOA 2 playthrough, but honestly, I didn't notice anything unusual, so perhaps they jiggle a little bit more, but I couldn't tell. The music for the opening sequence was awesome. I enjoyed the hard rock nod, and I wish more games used rock and metal. The voice acting is also in English this time. I don't know if there was a setting in the first game to change the voices to English, but Dead or Alive 2 starts in English, so I was able to understand what the characters were yelling at each other during the fight and in the cutscenes. My tits are bigger. No, my tits are bigger. Prove it. Let's make out and take off all of our clothes. If you watched my first review of DOA, you'll know that I suck at fighting games. But for once, I wasn't bad at DOA 2. I think the difficulty was changed vastly. I was able to beat the game with every character on normal mode, and I did it relatively easy during my playthrough. The final boss is a joke. Tengu, or whatever his name is, was really weak. The key to beating him is staying as close as possible. Don't let his wings or powerful bursts of wind get to you. I beat him most of the times on my first or second try with all the characters. I liked that bits and pieces of the story were thrown in during the campaign with each fighter. Instead of watching a cutscene after the final battle, you were given small doses of each fighter's personality. The overall story was unclear, and I had no idea why I was fighting most of the time, especially the final boss who has a stupid introduction. There's a lot of DOA lore, and I wish they would have incorporated it better into the game, but the banter between the characters was entertaining. DOA 2 is the first fighting game that I've reviewed that I would go back and play again just for fun. It's tons of arcade fun, and for once it didn't beat me down every step of the way. It also offers new modes like survival, which I did play a few times. It's fun, and it offers a different change of pace besides playing the story. In survival, you'll keep fighting until your health bar is gone. Each fighter you defeat will drop a small item to restore your health. As far as the actual fighting controls go, DOA 2 made it easier to pull off combos and throws. I didn't counter or block much, but I used the direction of my punches and kicks better than in the first game. The environments were also interesting to fight in. Instead of a square ring featuring a danger zone, where you get shocked if you are outside of it, there are destructible levels. You can send opponents flying through windows or fences as they fall 10, 20, or 50 feet below to another floor. It was awesome to pull this off, and it brought a new level of gameplay to the fight. I focused on sending them through the railing not only to do extra damage, but to watch their body fall through different dangers during my playthrough. My favorite fighter from DOA 2 was again Li Fang, which I liked from the first game. Her kicks were super powerful, and her boobs still bounced. A great soundtrack, improved graphics, destructible environments, and more make DOA 2 a competitor in the ring. With this installment, it didn't just make the game about boobs, it made it about fighting. This was a massive improvement on all assets from DOA 1. DOA 2 is not only a proper sequel, but it took the franchise to the next generation and made a monumental leap. Dead or Alive 2 scores an 8.3 out of 10, making this a great game. Gamers, that was my review of DOA 2 Hardcore from 2000 on the PS2. Personally, I loved this game so much more than the first DOA. I don't know what it was a lot easier, the controls were smoother, and the graphics and the destructible environments were just awesome to play in. I would love to hear your thoughts on DOA 2. Who was your favorite character? Again, mine is Li Fang, but I'd love to hear from people that chose other fighters. And what are your memories of this game? Did you think it was better than the first one? Did you still enjoy those jiggle physics? It's hard not to. Type away a comment, and while you're there, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel because I've got tons of game reviews on it, ranging from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, all the way up to the Switch and the PS5. Coming up next, if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and watch it. It's my review on the original DOA on the PS1. Now, there's a lot of censorship to that, and that really brought it down for me, but you can watch more on all of that coming up. Gamers, thanks for watching, and make sure you play a video game today.